said you wanted experiments on this channel, so we are going to do one, and this is a big one.
Yeah, we're burning it down.
We're burning it all down.
We are going to start the process of deleting the entirety of our eBay store. We are removing every single listing, and we are going to start from scratch.
So if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know that we struggle with eBay. Now, at some points, it has been our highest selling platform, but in the last, I would say 6 months, it has been horrible.
Yeah.
And I mean horrible.
It's been bad.
We go through multiple days with no sales, and if we do get a sale, it's 1 or 2, and it's been really rough. There are a few reasons it could be. First reason could be that we are clothing sellers, and eBay is not great for clothing sellers. It's super oversaturated, and it's just not the best platform for it. It could be that we have pricing issues, maybe photograph issues, maybe other issues. There could be a lot of things. But even though I do take the time every single day to make edits of items, there's just no way to know if every item, I have over 1,000, has been edited properly and optimized for eBay. So we are going to fix that today.
We did get the inspiration from this from a rural squirrel. I'm going to never be able to say that. Rural squirrel. This is the 15th time that I've said that. It's a great idea.
It's a really good idea.
Just a fresh start.
We're going to link the channel here so you guys can see her experiment with this. And I did get some pushback from some friends that I asked. They said, this is going to be too much work. You shouldn't do this. Like, it's a lot. But I think now is the best time to do this. We are just transitioning from full-time to part-time, and we've never had the opportunity to be able to do something that could impact our sales for a little bit of time because we were afraid of paying bills. Now we can do that, and we can make sure that we feel confident that not only is every item listed exactly the way we think it should be listed, but that we actually can physically touch every item because, do we want to be honest here?
We've had a few lost items in our time, in our travels of reselling. It's happened not that many, a couple times, 2 or 3 times.
But more often than it should, and it does cause
more often than zero.
A little bit of anxiety when an item sells. We always think to ourselves, oh my gosh, it has to be here. We have to find it. And we've also had some issues with items not as described because I will be honest, my attention to detail is not the best. So I do miss flaws, and when we are going to package, we try to do a second pass, but we're often crunched for time and we don't do a great job at that. So this is going to be another way to make sure that the descriptions are as accurate as possible as we go through all of these bins. So stick with us. This is going to be a very interesting journey. We will tell you the things that we find along the way, and we will let you know how we think this is going. Pray for us. Let us know what you think about this, and let us know if you've ever done this. How has it worked for you? I would love to know. So we currently have in our store right now 1,051 listings, and I am going to go ahead and delete all of them. So today is day 3, and we are going much slower than we wanted to go, but we have made a sale. So our first sale is this Julius Caesar DVD. It sold for $12.87 with free shipping. So not great. Found out a lot of our DVDs that we have left over are not good. We have learned a few things so far looking at this. One thing that we've learned is we need to watch our categories. I did have a pair of pants that was in the men's category, but they were actually women's pants, and they also said women's in the title, so that probably caused some confusion. I will also show you that we had an Oprah Debt Diet DVD. We can show you a picture of that here. But we had this put in the diet and nutrition section. Now I think this was maybe from a Sell Similar where we had just kind of taken all of the specifics from there, but that's definitely not good. And then the big one that we've noticed so far, because we are doing mostly pants at the moment, is that slimming is popping up for anything that I have titled as slim fit or put in the slim fit category. Slimming is auto-populating from eBay, and I think of slimming as shapewear, which I would assume our buyers do as well. So that's something we're really watching for as we go through it. But we are learning a lot, and we are definitely adjusting prices. Tyler is being amazing with that and helping me go way down. So let's hope for more sales and hope for more progress today.
All right, new update for you all. Admittedly, this is a much slower process than we had anticipated. We have only gotten through about 120 items or so. We're about 1/10 of the way there through the total listings. It's been a few days. So you've already seen the Julius Caesar DVD that has gone out. We've also sold a pair of Neil Barrett pants that were incorrectly listed as men's that are actually women's pants. They went out a couple days ago. We sold a Super Nintendo Mario All-Stars game. We sold a Opie and Anthony CD and a pair of Lululemon pants. So these all happened within the last couple days, and it's significantly better than what it has been previously. The tentative thing is that it is going to help us significantly with our eBay store. It's going to take a lot more work and effort, but we will get there at some point. We may not have all of the sale updates, but we are going to do our best to catalog everything as we go.
We have now sold 2 more items, so we're at around 150 listed, and we've sold a Mass Effect trilogy video game. I think it's a trilogy. And Vionic shoes. From right now, the biggest thing that we're noticing is pricing issues. So these Vionic shoes were listed at $40 for a really long time. We are moving into the warmer weather, so that could be part of why these sold. But I think the bigger part is that these sold for $25, not $40. And we're noticing that what's happening is I price everything based on Poshmark comps, and then I put everything over to my other platforms based on those comps. I do make adjustments for eBay specific brands, but other than that, I stick with Poshmark, and that probably is hurting me. So we are noticing that we're going to have to separate comping Poshmark items and eBay items, no matter what they are, and adjust for that. Now, this is going to be a work in progress because, of course, there are certain things you can sell better on Poshmark than you can on eBay. You're going to have to make adjustments and decide for yourself what the best thing to do is. But for us right now, we are trying to kind of heed eBay comps because a lot of these items have been sitting for a long time, and that probably will evolve. But I'm curious what you guys do. Definitely let us know in the comments what tips you have for that. If you are a dominantly clothing seller and Poshmark is your dominant platform, do you go by Poshmark comps or do you separate comps, Poshmark versus eBay? I'd love to know because some of these comps are really sad. So yeah, that's where we are right now.
All right, so it is the next day, and we are still going through the eBay relist process, which is becoming more of a nightmare, it seems, because it's very slow. It's taking so much longer than we expected. We do have another sale, however, which is good news. These are a pair of Judy Blue jeans I sold for $28, and I believe these would have sold regardless because they're Judy Blue. We've mentioned them in our jeans draft. We've mentioned them in our most recent 100% sell-through video that we just posted. They will sell. Judy Blue is a bolo, buy it all of the time. But this led us into a discussion on medium versus dark wash or light wash. So when we were posting these, there was a discussion back and forth and kind of a good-hearted argument about whether they're medium or dark wash, and the fact that that is very subjective. So my wife and I don't always see eye to eye. It's subjective. So I'm very curious to see if anyone posts the wash type when they list, specifically if the brand has not posted it for you, because we're concerned that that will open up to potential cases and returns because it is something that is not consistent between different people. Now, we did in this whole debate pull up a resource which was very helpful, although it's very confusing as well. There's dark wash, light wash, medium wash, there's acid wash, there's enzyme wash, there's things that I didn't even know existed. So it's going to take a lot more researching and looking at the jeans themselves and comparing them to the photos to make sure that we get this right moving forward.
So this process is taking forever. We have been doing this for a few weeks now, and we still only have about a little over 200 listings, and it's taking a lot longer than we had hoped. I was warned about this. I have some really great friends who said this is going to take too long, you shouldn't do this, but they were right. This is taking far too long, which is slowing down our sales for sure. Our sell-through rate is increasing, but our sales are definitely slowing down. The amount of time that we have to do other things such as sourcing and listing, all of that has been dramatically reduced. So a big thing that we are noticing is this is super necessary, but is it super easy to fit it into your schedule? The answer is no. That this is going to be a bigger problem than we realized. So we are noticing a lot, right? So we have made 2 more sales. I've sold a pair of cabbie pants that are wide leg pants. They're really cute, and for going back into an office in the spring, these are perfect. They sold for $30, and I also sold another DVD, I believe it is. It's Top Gear. I think this would have sold regardless of if I had done this or not done this. DVDs are wonderful. We love you. I wish I could find you every day. But the biggest thing that I am struggling with at the moment is whether or not we continue. We have just really, really slowed down our process. I have a little over 1,000 items in my inventory, and at the moment, I'm only at about a little over 200. And at this point, we are noticing that condition issues are things that we have to really look at. We are noticing an issue with sell similar, where I have been, especially with DVDs such as Top Gear, doing a sell similar for a DVD, accepting basically what people put in there and not being as diligent as I should be at checking those additional fields. So you really need to make sure if you use sell similar, which I totally recommend because it makes things much faster, but if you use it, that you double check everything, check the category that it's being put in, check everything that they put in there. One of the biggest ones that we noticed and had to cancel a sale over is we had a disc set that was listed as a 4-disc set, but it was really only a 3-disc set. And we noticed that, unfortunately, too late. And you really, really, really got to make sure you're checking those. There could be people made mistakes in the past. It could be that theirs is just a little bit different than yours, even though it looks the same. Could be a lot of reasons, but definitely got to do that. So this is a necessary process for sure. I have made a lot of mistakes that I would have never caught, but it's taking so long. Help! Send help! We give up. So we have done as much as we could do. This has been, how many weeks have we been doing this?
3-4 weeks now. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so to give you a little bit of background, we started this project right as I was starting a new job, and the thought process behind this was that this was a really good time to start inventory because we felt like at the time, which we may have covered in the intro, I'm not sure how much we covered, but we felt like at the time that this was a good time to take stock of things and not have to worry about making as much sales as we needed to worry about before, because now we have that buffer. And we hadn't really done full inventory almost ever. We've done periodic piecemeal inventory.
And I think we did one full inventory at like 150 items.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
But we've done buckets here and there, and we've done different categories, but we've never really done the full thing. And we definitely haven't gone back through and looked at listings when we pulled it from a bin and then looked at it that way. We haven't done it that way. So we thought this was a good time. But yeah, maybe it wasn't.
Well, I'm wearing a Bob Ross shirt because it's not a mistake. It's just a happy accident. It's something where we did it not fully understanding the tremendous scope of relisting over 1,000 items.
Yeah, so we did learn a lot. I think that first things first, we are not going to just put everything back up and then forget about it and move on with our lives because we learned too much and that would just feel terrifying at this point. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our listings back up, but the way we're going to do it is we're going to first go through everything and make sure anything that's sold along the way we have removed. Anything that is double listed that we never caught before is removed. And anything that we kind of look at and we're like, yeah, no, I definitely don't want that listed on eBay anymore is removed before we put it back up. So we are going to do a quick scan through and just make sure like we're good with the items going back up. But from there, we're also going to take screenshots of the lists. I think eBay only allows up to 200 at a time. Take screenshots of them and then keep these lists, and we're going to go through them periodically as we have time to start doing the exact same thing. We're not going to just pull up the listings and review them like I do on mostly a monthly basis. We're going to pull the items, look at the items, review them, recomp them, do all of that so that by the time we're done, we know that we have everything. It's all inventoried. It's all good. We've double checked it. We've listed it the way we wanted it to be listed, and we've recomped it. So, but that will be a longer process. It's going to be a periodic thing.
It's going to be over the next 7 to 8 to 15 months, probably. It's going to be a very long process. There are a couple of key takeaways for this that I did want to mention. So I think that we have noticed quite a few irregularities on some of the listings, and I don't blame you on that. I blame mostly the sell similar, which is a hugely useful tool on eBay. It's not always perfect, and things can get misidentified or mislabeled, or just irregularities on some of the listings. And I don't blame you on that. I blame mostly the sell similar, which is a hugely useful tool on eBay. It's not always perfect, and things can get misidentified or mislabeled, or just it feeds in something that shouldn't be there, or changes something material to the item, and it's not a perfect system. Reselling. So the posh pricing has kind of bled over a little bit into eBay. I think that's far and away the most consistent thing that we update on the listings that we've gotten through so far is we tweak the title a little bit, and then it's the price, is reevaluating based on specifically eBay and targeting the eBay buyer rather than the Poshmark buyer on eBay, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I definitely think that if you are someone that sells dominantly clothing and you are posh focused, definitely take a look at your pricing, because if you're like me, your eBay pricing is probably way too high. If you are on other categories, that might not apply to you specifically, because I do know that in other categories, eBay is actually the higher price point. So definitely this is category specific. So that is a big one. I do want to mention that one of the things that led us to this decision was double listings. Now, we have double sold items in the past, and that has caused quite a lot of fear of just, how did this happen? Was I not careful enough? Was there ghost listings? Because eBay is famous for ghost listings. If you know, you know. Was it a situation where maybe it sold, but then it was canceled? And do I really do have it, and I just can't find it? Because, you know, if something gets sold, you pull it, you move it from its inventory bucket.
It's a whole mess.
There's a whole thing. So there's a lot of different questions when that happens, and sometimes panic can make that a lot worse. So we're trying to mitigate that situation happening. I will say we didn't find a lot of double sold items, but we have combed through many, many times looking for that. So if you have that problem, definitely take a look, because eBay is not nice about this. You can cancel items and make them buyer requested. There are ways to do that. It is not
recommended.
It's not recommended.
Do not do that unless you have literally no other choice.
And if you do have to cancel as out of stock, it does count as a defect, and you don't get that many, especially if you're not selling at a very large scale. eBay will penalize you and can suspend you for causing that to happen too often. So it's definitely something to be aware of and make sure that you are watching for. So that was one of the reasons that we did this. And then the other thing that actually really pushed me in this direction is one of you guys in our group made a post about sell-through rate on eBay and wanted to know whether or not sell-through rate impacts sales on eBay. And of course, yes, if you have a higher sell-through rate, you have better sales, but does eBay look at that and then decide whether or not to promote your item? If I can find the post, I will pop it on the screen here. But that made us really start thinking, we have a lot of items, but not a lot of solds, and we look at our sell-through rate cross-platform, all three platforms, how much we sell in a month versus how much do we list. But specifically on eBay, our sell-through rate is actually not good.
No, it's the lowest of all of our platforms.
Yeah.
With the exception of Mercari, because Mercari is just
Mercari.
It's just a problem.
But so we really wanted to know, like, does that impact it? Because if it does, we're definitely getting impacted. So I will say, with less items, our sell-through rate has gone up quite a bit, given the amount of items we have versus the amount of items we're listing per day versus how much we're selling. That's definitely gone up. But I haven't figured out fully how to deal with the sell-through rate issue, because our sell-through rate is for sure in the toilet, and it could be because of pricing, could be because we're selling clothing, but it's definitely in the toilet. So I'm curious if you guys have any ideas. Do you think that sell-through rate is impacting your sales? Do you think that eBay looks at stores with a higher sell-through rate and promotes their items more? Or do you think that it's just a situation where we don't have the categories that eBay is looking for, so we're just not getting as many buyers? I'd be curious what people's thoughts are on this. I think it's a mixed opinion type thing.
So I think that there's value in and of the start from scratch. Start with a clean slate, just start over. For whatever reason, it seemed like your items were being suppressed or hidden, and eBay wasn't able to figure it out. So sometimes the drastic answer is the best answer. So I do think that the fresh start was a tremendous change for the eBay algorithm, and taking a look at our store and having a higher sell-through rate certainly has impacted that for the better. Having said that, I still feel that a bigger change was just the completely removing everything and starting over, so that eBay is re-indexing everything and putting everything back up, even if we haven't really changed anything. That should drive more traffic and things to the store for the future. And I'm excited to go through the rest of this list and complete it, even if it's going to take the rest of my life.
And we will keep you updated as we go. If you guys know, we do Day in the Lives a lot, where we have multiple topics, and one of the topics some of the time will probably be how this is going, what we're learning, what's going on. So we'll definitely be keeping you updated as we go. The question that I'm sure everybody wants to know at the end of this video is whether or not we recommend doing this. And for me, I would say it depends. If you are someone that has never inventoried your stuff, you have 100, 500, 1,000 items, and you've never looked through it, if you've ever double sold an item, if you've ever sold an item where you missed a flaw, if you've ever sold an item where the listing wasn't what it should have been, then yes, I think that this needs to be done. It is a huge time sink, but it's a huge peace of mind as well. And it does teach you a lot about what you're doing wrong, right, what you could be doing better. It does give you a lot of insight. However, if you're someone that, has been inventorying all along, someone that really has never run into any issues, you've not run into problems with your listings, you've not run into condition issues, you've never sold an item, then, I don't see a value in this. I don't think that it's worth the time put in. But what do you think?
Real question, do the people that have never had a problem even resell? Because I can't for the life of me understand someone being perfect all of the time, because
there are perfectionists out there.
People do make mistakes. I think that for me, there very much is value in the being able to go through each item and put your hands on the item and reevaluate it with a fresh set of eyes and a new perspective, because it was picked up at a different time in our reselling journey, and we've learned things, we've changed things, we have a different understanding of things now that we've been a little bit more practiced at it. So it very much does have value in my mind, even though it's a tremendous time commitment.
Absolutely. If you guys are going to do this, let us know in the comments. I'm curious how many people are going to do a spring cleaning of their store, because my goodness, more power to you. I'm really excited to see that. Now, we have told you we are going to be doing experiments. We have the time now. We have the flexibility now. We are definitely going to be doing them. And this isn't the first eBay experiment we've done. If you want to see an experiment of whether or not filling in all of those eBay store recommendations helps your sales or not, click the link on the screen here.